The sky was grey the morning of my mother's funeral. A slow wind moved through the cemetery, making the trees whisper above us. People stood quietly around the open grave, dressed in black, their faces heavy with sadness. Some of them held issue, others started at the ground. I stood closest to the coffin. Everyone kept saying the same soft words. She was a wonderful woman. Your mother was so kind. But they was sounded distant to me like they were coming from far away. The priest finished the final prayers. Two workers stepped forward to close the coffin before lowering. One of them lifted the lid, and then he froze. At first, I thought he was just being careful, but then the second worker leaned over to look inside. His face went pale. They both looked at each other in complete silence. What's wrong? Something behind me asked. The first worker slowly stepped back. The coffin was empty. For a moment, nobody moved. The wind seemed louder. The quiet crowd began whispering in confusion. Empty. My mother's coffin was completely empty. My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. This had to be a mistake. Maybe they opened the wrong coffin. Maybe something had gone wrong at the funeral home. Then my phone vibrated in my pocket. I almost ignored it, but something made me pull it out. The screen lit up with a new message. It was from Mom. My hands started shaking as I opened it. The text was short. Who is this number? For a long moment, I just started at the message. Who is this number? My chest felt tight. My mother had been declared dead 3 days ago. I had seen the hospital papers. I had signed the release forms myself. So why was her phone texting me like I was a stranger? Before I could even think of a reply, someone gently touched my shoulder. Daniel Carter. I turned around. A tall man in a dark coat stood behind the crowd. He looked calm, but his eyes were sharp, studying me carefully. He opened his coat slightly and showed a page. Special Agent Miller, FBI. The world already felt upside down and now this. I need you to come with me, he said quietly. There's something you need to see. 20 minutes later, I was sitting in the back seat of a black SUV as it drove away from the cemetery. No sirens, no explanation, just silence. We stopped outside a plain concrete building on the edge of the city. It looked like an old storage facility. Nothing special, but inside, the halls were clean, quiet, and heavily secured. A safe house. Agent Miller led me down a long hallway and stopped at a metal door. A small sign beside it read, Unit 17. No stomach tightened. Before we go in, Miller said, there a story you were never told. He handed me a thick envelope. Inside were old photos, newspaper, clipping and government documents. The name that appeared again and again was Victor Crane. 25 years ago, Crane ran one of the most dangerous financial crime network in the country. Money laundering, corruption, people disappearing. Then Agent Miller pointed to one photo. My breath stopped. The man in the picture was my father, but my dad died when I was 8. I whispered. Miller shook his head slowly. No, he said. Then he opened the door to Unit 17, and inside the room, a man who looked exactly like my father slowly stood up. For a few seconds, I could not breathe. The man standing in front of me looked older, thinner, and tired, but it was him, the same eyes, the same face I remember from old photos. My dad, I whispered. He looked at me carefully, like he was seeing a ghost too. Daniel, he said quietly. Agent Miller stepped forward before I could say anything else. We do not have much time, he said. Victor Crane was released 2 hours ago. The room suddenly felt colder. Release? I asked. How is that possible? Legal technicalities. Miller replied. His lawyer found a way. The charge collapsed. My father's face hardened. That means he knew. He said, knows what? I asked. That I'm still alive. My stomach dropped. Agent Myler placed several photos on the table. They were recent surveillance images, and one showed a large black SUV outside a house, my house. Another photo showed two small figures playing in the front of yard. My children, Emma, 8 years old, Lucas 6, my hands started shaking. Crane believes your father betrayed him 25 years ago. Myler said if he find your family first, he won not his state. My father grabbed the phone from the table and pushed it toward me. Call Celeste, he said urgently. Right now, my heart was racing as I dialed my wife's number. The phone rang once, twice, then she answered. Hi Daniel, Celeste said casually. Is everything okay? Before I could answer, I heard something in the background. A car door slamming and a deep male voice asking, excuse me, is this the Carter residence? Everything after that call moved fast. Agent Miller traced the signal from the SUV and located Crane man within minutes. They were heading toward an old warehouse near the river. Dark, isolated, the perfect place for something to go very wrong. By the time we arrived, the sun was already setting. Red and blue lights flashed quietly in the distance as FBI vehicles surrounded the building. Agent moved into position, weapons ready. Inside the warehouse, I could hear voices and then Celeste shooting. FBI, don't move. Someone yelled as the doors burst open. Jaws exploded. Men started running. A gunshot cracked through the air. For one trivial second, I saw my father collapse to the ground. Dad, I shouted, but Agent rushed past me. Crane men were quickly pinned down. Victor Crane himself was dragged out in handcuffs, still shooting threats. Then someone helped my father sit up. The bullet had only grazed his shoulder, alive. A few minutes later, Celeste ran toward me with Emma and Lucas. They threw their arms around me, crying but said, 2 years later, life finally feels normal again. My father lives close by now. The past is behind us. But sometimes I still think about that day. And I always wonder the same thing. If you discover your dead parents were secretly alive, what would you do?
Don't miss the next emotional story. Subscribe to Darkwire 2 and see how patience, truth, and quiet strength change everything.